Lots to unpack here, so let's get to it. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from either Kansas City, Missouri or Independence, Missouri. I don't know that much about the layout of Missouri, but they couldn't decide between one or the other, so I'm going to human centipede them together and say this is Independence City, Missouri, from the cable Jeffrey Dahmer Arena. What's eating you? What's eating me? A few things ate at me during this show, but I'm also going to have some praise. I'm also going to have a couple serious moments that I want to talk about. But let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. We're just over a week away from Full Gear, which on paper is looking to be a pretty damn good pay-per-view, and the fact that AEW does the smart thing and only has a few pay-per-views a year, and considering that they charge 50 fucking bucks a pop, that's probably smart. They can, aim these big matches towards those shows, and as long as they make enough of the right decisions, they don't have to give the fans everything they want, but just give them enough of what they want, they're going to have even more growth in 2022, even with the pitfalls, not pitfalls of mine adventure, but even with the pitfalls they have. They've done enough good that I think that they could possibly grow their audience a little bit. They've done some good stuff since getting crowds back. But anyway, the announcers do mention their support for Jon Moxley, and in all seriousness, no matter how big of a wrestling star you are, whatever you're going through, just get help. If you need help, Tony Khan put out a number during a series of tweets that he put up when he talked about the Jon Moxley situation. And I'm going to put that in the description. But in all seriousness, guys, if you need help, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I don't even play one on video, but just in all seriousness, if you need to talk to somebody, reach out. There are people that want to talk to you. Hit me up in DM on Twitter. You can hit me up in the comments here, but if you don't want to air your dirty laundry, anything you're going through, anything personal, hit me up in DM. I will always talk to you guys. There are people out there that will support you. So we have Kenny Omega with Michael Nakazawa, who does not need to be there at all, taking on Alan Five Angels, who I just saw at an indie show a few days ago. And I gotta say, Angels really can work. He's very good in the ring as far as dives, as far as wrestling ability. The wing snapper move that he does, really goddamn vicious to see in person. But what a difference 18 months makes. Because if you recall, they had this match where Omega was competitive with him, and that actually got Alan the job. He was signed to the company shortly after. He joined the Dark Order, all that stuff and everything. And while, of course, the Dark Order is not necessarily my favorite stable, I have to say that Angels is a really good talent. And it was fine. This is the more serious Omega that we've been needing, for a while, and we really should have gotten more during his title reign. I don't mind a little bit of comedic goofiness here and there, but he really should have been a little bit more serious. Angels does get his shots in, gets a nice dive. Does get, jammed with knees after he tries to do a frog splash. We get a V-trigger, but just for 2. And then Omega hits 2 more V-triggers, 1, 2, 3. But Angels look competitive, but it was obvious that Omega was going to beat him pretty soundly and convincingly. Then he cuts a promo and says, Nakazawa, give me the chair. And then Hangman, out in a 70s shirt that was straight out of a VW van, he tries to hit the buckshot, but nope. Omega ducks it, more like the duck shot lariat. And no, I'm not referring to Duck Hunt. And Paige says, hey, you forgot something. Forgot the title in the ring. Well, you better hold on to it. You got 10 days. 10 days. You got 10 days, Kenny. That's going to haunt Tony Khan forever. And then the announcers run down the card. And Miro is replacing Jon Moxley, which is a smart choice, especially given what they did in the main event. Get a spoopy Malachi Black promo. He is barred from ringside for the Andrade El Olio and Cody match, but he says it wasn't just one person that, led to the assassination of Julius Caesar. Okay, as long as they actually keep this shit going, they don't have Malachi just eat losses, I'm all for them trying to let this story play out. Even if it involves Cody, and I'm kind of fucking sick of Cody, and I've been sick of Cody for a while. So Punk's out to a pop and sing along Cult of Personality, and he wanted to talk seriously. He refers to Moxley and, what he's going through. He says, I have some history with him. We're not the closest, but he knows what it's like to go. Be sick, but feel like you need to keep going. And eventually you need to just take yourself off the hamster wheel. I'm proud of him because it's not easy to admit that stuff. And I can't quote it verbatim because we would have been here all day, and it's better to hear it from Punk, but just paraphrasing it. If anybody here or anybody watching home feels like they need help, do it. Reach out, text somebody, call somebody. There's nothing harder, but nothing more courageous than doing that. And in all seriousness, he wanted them to cheer for Moxley. Because Punk, for all his faults, does care about people. And Moxley obviously is going through a whole bunch of stuff, and Punk, being straight edge, recognizes when people are going through stuff. He went through his own stuff, as he said. This was good. This was a really good part. And then it was, the second part was him calling out Eddie Kingston, saying that, somebody said fight him. He's like, I would, but he's not here. He doesn't know what Eddie's problem is. Something from their history on the indies, he doesn't know. He says, well, he was going to be in the tournament, but he hasn't finished the stuff with Eddie, so you wouldn't get Punk versus Orange Cassidy and possibly Punk versus Bryan Danielson. So they're obviously going to say Punk versus Bryan Danielson for either Revolution or maybe Double or Nothing, and I'm all for it. I mean, we need that match on a pay-per-view stage while they're both in the same company. But he will call him out on Friday. Good promo. Miro then says, my God, I cursed you. I threatened you and all that and everything, and you put me in the world title hunt or whatever. Are you trying to help me, or are you laughing at me? And he basically says, my road will be paved with skulls, and I want to please her, meaning that they're going to bring Lana in because we don't fucking need that, but whatever. Let's just talk about the fact that, I'm sorry for channeling Clueless there, but Miro, great promo. And they will, and then you will be forgiven, because this is the word of the Redeemer and the Reamer. Anyway, but good promo, good stuff from Miro. Like, really, this is the kind of shit I've been enjoying from him for the last number of months. So, Marvez is with Atom Cole, baby, the Bucks, and Cutler. Why is Cutler there? Genuine question. I mean, I know he's friends with the Bucks. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He is not needed on a cable broadcast show. He's just not. Have him on being the Elite if you fucking want. He does not need to be featured as any kind of character on a big league wrestling promotion. So Christian Cage shows up, fresh off of losing to Josh Alexander, and fresh off of Josh Alexander losing to the woman beater and pedo apologist Moose. And I would just like to say, fuck Moose. I hope that he has a miserable title reign. He doesn't fucking deserve it. It's one thing if you're just not a good person inside, but you don't beat women and you're not a pedo apologist, but he's both of those. So fuck Moose. It's not even that goddamn good in the ring. So no wonder he's in Impact. So Luchasaurus shows up. So they battle, two of them, by the way, which Luchasaurus, when featured and stuff like this, can be a little less awkward. They battle to the stage. Cutler is useless, does the cold spray thing. Try spraying that, try spraying some hot onto your brain. Maybe you'll be able to heat it up and you'll be able to unfreeze it. Maybe you'll be able to think for yourself and realize you don't fucking belong on TV. So Jungle Boy, just suddenly out of nowhere, Jungle Boy, L-O-L-E-O-L-E-O, the jungle love that he gives to Anna Jay. Okay, enough of that. He dives off the stage onto the Bucks. This keeps going. Cage does his spear to Matt. Tries to go for the kill switch, but Super Nick Party! And then we get a Rana on the stage, and then we get a choke slam onto Cole's back. I think Cole died during this segment, which means that I don't think Britt, as a dentist, can revive him. Maybe she can, I don't know. And the snare trap on Cole. And submissions hurt more on the stage, in case you don't know. And then we get a concerto on Cole. ColeChairto, if you will. Let's just roll with that. So, not bad. Christian probably means as little as any big signing that they've had. But then again, at this point, what was he going to do? He was never going to be somebody that was going to be a world champion. Yeah, he's the Impact World Champion, but who gives a shit? TBS tourney pre-tape on Statler and Soho. That ought to be interesting. So, Aerostar. I don't know where Aerostar has been. I remember him from Lucha Underground. I know he was part of, that, like, I guess the old Lucha Underground Impact Wrestling crossover in, like, 2018, I think. And Aerostar's a talent, I'll say that much. And he was teaming with Samurai Del Sol, the former Kalisto, versus FTR with Tully, AAA Tag Team Championship match. Okay, let's just unpack something about Del Sol right here, because I'm going to get a little bit vicious. If you saw any exchange between Chris Jericho, and I'm blocked by Kalisto, by the way, that's from years past. I think it was a whole do a good lucha thing. So he just blocked everybody, and that was 5-something years ago. But the whole point is somebody screenshot the tweet and sent it to me. He sent out a little prayer, mentioned something about, the late great Brody Lee, mentioning his name, but instead of spelling it John Huber, Jon, and his last name, he spelled it John. Okay, So there's stuff to unpack here. Jericho piled on, oh, you spelled the name wrong. And then, Brody's wife, I'll just say that much, got upset, put up the gift. Why are you booing me? I'm right. Somebody says, well, English isn't his first language. Even though he's born in Chicago, maybe English isn't his first language. I don't know. I don't know that much about Kalisto's background. But let's just go with the fact that, okay, maybe English is his, second language. Possible. There's quite a melting pot of people in Chicago, in case you didn't know. Italians, Hispanics, all that. Just from what I've heard. But anyway. Oh, she says, well, that's still no excuse. Okay. So let's just say that maybe Kalisto and Brody weren't that close, and Kalisto was just doing it for clout. That is possible. Now, if that's the case, then Kalisto, the former Kalisto samurai shouldn't have said that. Maybe they were close, and he couldn't visit him before he passed away because there were the virus restrictions and certain people couldn't come visit, and you need to plan the stuff out and stuff like that. You need to be all this because there was a lot of people that couldn't be visited in the hospital when they passed away from whatever condition they had. So that's a possibility. It's also a possibility there was autocorrect and autocorrect failed him because my name's spelled Jonn, by the way. Do you know how many fucking people misspell my name? Quite a few. Do you know how many times I got upset? Even at employers that have employed me for a number of years, whatever, it is what it is. These things happen. So, at the least, Amanda was just maybe upset that somebody was using her husband's name without realizing that he might have been close to Kalisto. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Or at worst, she's agreeing with Chris Jericho, who, by the way, I might want to remind everybody, had a wife and mother-in-law that were part of the January 6th insurrection attempts, donate thousands of dollars to Donald Trump, and also quickly forgave Tommy Dreamer for all the shit he said during the Dark Side of the Ring plane ride from hell episode. Oh yeah, you'll forgive a guy that was blowing off the whole sexual assault thing and everything. You'll forgive that. You'll have Donald Trump Jr. on your goddamn podcast. You'll go to a super spreader event. You'll do all this stuff. But spelling the name wrong is where you draw the line. Chris Jericho, you bloated fucking walrus. You embarrassment to professional wrestling. Why the fuck, Jericho, are you even here? Oh, I know, because Tony Khan, for any good that he has, and he has quite a bit of good. I will not knock Tony Khan as far as charity and other stuff he's done. He is somebody that perhaps should realize that Chris Jericho is well past his sale date, has not been any good in the fucking ring since at least 2010, has gotten by on doing, more with less, because he can't really fucking go anymore. He's off the goddamn WWE wellness policy thing, where now he can just do whatever the fuck he wants. Take a look at how he was in 2017 during his one comeback match. His one comeback match where he showed up on a SmackDown in July of 2017. And then take a look at how he was just a mere 5 months later in New Japan. He gave up. He wanted to drink. He wanted to be a rock star, a failed rock star, by the way. And that's all Jericho ever will fucking be. So I'm just going to say right now that this is really fucking stupid. And Jericho might want to stop showing his obvious tendencies to be a little bit biased towards people. Now, again, maybe him and Kalisto have heat. I don't know. Kalisto could end up being a not good guy. I don't fucking know. I'm not even out here defending Kalisto, but also, Brody's wife might want to stop burning through the goodwill she has because she's starting to come across a bit like Melanie Pillman. Hopefully, she doesn't end up like Melanie Pillman, blowing all the money and the kids don't end up fucking getting. Speaking of the kids, now I know it's not my place to say anything about what people should do with their goddamn kids, but maybe, just maybe, even if the kid's good in school, maybe you shouldn't, let the company exploit the kid. And that's what it fucking is at this point. You can say whatever you want. I get hate. I can get a whole bunch of goddamn mean comments and stuff like that. These are just my opinions. But guess what? That kid's being fucking exploited. That kid's going to be scarred for goddamn life. I'm sure he loves being around the wrestlers. I'm sure there are wrestlers that genuinely love to be around him. The whole Dark Order thing, if you wanted to put it on some YouTube shows, fine. The tribute show, fine. The one other show where it was in Rochester, fine. It's not a charity case. At this point, you help people out, you help out the family, you do the Brody Lee Foundation, you give the kid a ticket, you give him a college fund, this kind of stuff, but maybe you stop doing this kind of stuff, and maybe, hopefully, I'm just misinterpreting, and it's just a hurt widow who is still dealing with the after effects of her husband's untimely and sudden passing. Hopefully that's it, because if she agrees with Jericho on any of this stuff, if you know what I fucking mean, Oh boy, am I going to have some fucking stuff to say. I was going to do that in a separate video, but fuck it. I'm just going to do it here because I'm lazy and I don't want to fucking do that. I'm going to have more on Jericho here in a little bit. Let's get back to the AAA thing. So again, no fan of the former Kalisto, but the guy's talented, and him and Aerostar had a decent match. I did write down, will Del Sol do a good lucha thing? God damn it, woo. So Aerostar flips, and Dax just flips him off. He did a lot of flips, and Dax is like, fuck you. So they do flippy shit. Aerostar nearly brained himself on the goddamn ground. We got a trust fall headbutt, and Del Sol got tagged, and it got a bit awkward. Sudden smash cut to Darby in the crowd for some reason. Near falls, brainbuster outside, roll up with the ropes, 1, 2, 3. Okay, at least FTR retained. I mean, there was no way Aerostar and Del Sol were going to win. Alright, so not the last time we will see FTR and Tully, by the way. Shivani is with Shida backstage. She has 50 wins and Nyla mocks her. Why is Vicky here? Genuine question. Regardless of how I personally feel about Vicky, what has she added? She has added nothing to this program. Just like she added nothing to WWE programming the last couple of years she was there. So, the Sing Judas as the Insurrection God himself shows up. Yeah, said I was going to have more to say about Chris Jericho. Here's the thing. I'd be willing to forgive a lot of, and by the way, the Inner Circle's also there. I'd be more than willing to forgive stuff, except if we're going to knock certain wrestlers for stuff they said years ago and hold it against them, and I have in some cases, then some have seemed contrite and I've forgiven them, and it's up to you what you want to do. Some have forgiven Hogan, some realize he was only apologizing for getting caught on camera. I'm not going to apologize for what I say about Jericho. And if this offends you and you think it is a left-wing agenda, no. This is not a left and right thing. To quote or paraphrase Kevin Von Erich, this is between decency and filth. You can support whoever, or you can, feel however the fuck you want. You can support whichever side of the political fence you want to support. You can support ideas on both sides for all I care. I draw the line at people that donate thousands of dollars to a person that has been credibly accused of, by many women, of everything from molestation to a certain word that I will not say here. Wanted to fuck his own daughter. Tried to ruin the country in the January 6th stuff and all that. So yeah, you want me to get off my political soapbox? Tell you what, Jericho apologizes for being a goddamn bloated piece of shit and a goddamn concussed moron, then maybe I will. But no, I'm actually not going to, because these are my opinions. So anyway, the Insurrection God is there, and naturally, Hager has a very pro-patriotic shirt on there because we all know Hager, in his infinite wisdom / idiocy with his plastic Barbie doll wife, are the picture-perfect, right-wing crackpot couple that they are. I mean, seriously, fucking look at them. If you don't think that they got a bunch of guns and you don't think she yells, and asks for the manager a whole bunch, then I don't know who fucking does. So, they talk about Sammy's win. They get to choose who will be the 3 members of America's Top Team along with Sky and Ethan. So here's America's Top Team. America's Top Team? Is it America's Top Team or America? I think it's America's Top Team. I think it is. Somebody told me in the comments. If I got it wrong, I apologize. Somebody moves for Lambert, the sheepish lion Dan Lambert. Van Zant. Damn. That's all I'm going to say. Shut the fuck up, Chance. Lambert really tried to make this work. I have not really enjoyed this feud because Lambert is a passionate wrestling fan and he did good stuff in Impact, but also at that point, Impact was purgatory, as opposed to now where it's really purgatory. This doesn't matter. Sammy, Santana, and Ortiz are fine. If you want to have a 3-on-3 match, fine. Jericho can't go anymore. Hager isn't any good in the ring. So, we snack on danger and dine on death, which was an Old World Warriors line that, Lambert used. And that was good. That was good stuff. So Hager tried to be funny and called Dos Santos Popeye. I don't think that Hager, who looks like pretty much a mop came to life, and no, not Moppy, he probably shouldn't be insulting anybody's looks. And then Santana chooses Orlovsky, tells him to bite this. And then Lambert talks about Van Zant, and Jericho comments, because Van Zant says, she knocks the Inner Circle, I can take all 5 of you by myself. He says, well, that joke writes itself. Yeah, that was kind of, and Van Zant has been the one big star out. It's not that Lambert hasn't tried. It's like, maybe you could put it on your OnlyFans page. Oh, so he's, of course, I think one of them said something, God, what was it? I think it was Ortiz that said something in Spanish. She's like, what did he say? Sammy says, he says you're a bitch. So they choose the fifth guy. It's Lambert. Oh boy, this is going to suck. It's not that Lambert won't try, and it's not that I don't get it. They're trying to do the War Games thing where they finally get J.J. Dillon in, and that worked because they built to it. This has not been built all that well. It's been all over the place. They put Dos Santos in a tag match, a regular tag match. Did not feature him right. This has been a fucking mess, and it's going to be really, really bad. I think Van Zant needs to get involved and just, Inner Circle is going to go over. Inner Circle also doesn't need to be together anymore. There's a shelf life for factions, and they reached it a while ago. So, Shivani is with Dante, Leo, and Leo, Matt Sydal, and Lee Moriarty, who I'm going to see an indie show a little bit later this month. And why is Leo here is what I'm asking. They're going to have a tag match on Rampage? Who the fuck knows? No, they're going to have a tag match at some point. Probably on the kickoff show. Jamie Hayter with Rebel and Britt versus Anna Jay for the TBS, or I believe it's the first round or quarterfinal match, whatever. The TBS tournament. Okay, cool. At least it's a fresh match, I'll say that much. I mean, and it was what it was. Anna coming off of her shoulder injury. Scintillating camera work during this, by the way, I should say that. Action was fine. There was a nice side kick in the corner. Anna has really improved, and I mean, considering she only started wrestling sometime last year, she's pretty good. Jamie, I see why people praise her. Nice DDT for 2. We do get a distraction, though, and we get a big lariat from Jamie, 1, 2, 3. Not a bad match. It's sad that that's the most they featured of the women, and they decided to just get all the women in on this goddamn thing. Seriously, women concession workers and janitors needing more lemon pledge just got in there and did that. Nope, Aftermath. Ty Conte comes in for the save. Britt sells the kick. Best sell. That was pretty good. And then, I don't really know what the fuck's going on because they just decided to throw a whole bunch of women in. Ty got glummed in. Thunder Rosa comes down because Thunder Rosa is fucking awesome. They decide, well, we're just going to leave and we're done with this. We're not quite done with the women because I wonder if Jade Cargill skinned a canary for that top. Whatever. Tweety Bird, got caught and Sylvester could never catch Tweety. Damn you, Jade. You stopped Sylvester. So anyway, she's that bitch, by the way, in case you didn't know. MJF comes out to booze. Shivani calls him the big shithead, as for TBS. Pretty good. And MJF talks to Darby. We know without us, this company doesn't work. They boo me. They cheer you. They cheer you because you're just like them. Great promo from MJF. Check this shit out. Really good stuff from him, as you would expect. Calls him a glorified stuntman. Good Ric Flair line about Mick Foley from one of his books years ago. And he will lose because he's more concerned about beating or, battering him than he is about beating him. That's a good line. And he says, I could beat you with a headlock fucking takeover, or headlock takeover. It would have been funny if he had said the F word. Darby says he will beat him with wrestling because he's going to get out all his aggression tonight. And then Sting, with a bunch of Darby face guys, cardboard cutouts, decide to show up and they have a battle, and MJF shows up to help MJF. Nope, Spears shows up with a chair. And this is all over the place. Darby and MJF brawl into the crowd, and then Darby does the cactus clothesline to MJF, which, oh boy, I don't know if I'd take that bump. That was something. But this was fine. I'm interested to see this match. I think they've done a little bit too much. I think they really should have held Darby off until the pay-per-view, but fine. And I guess they felt they need to spice this thing up. Andrade makes his entrance. Cody makes his entrance with pyro and booze, and a lot of booze. And Cody versus Andrade with Arn and G.I. Jose in the corners. Boy, they decided to boo Cody a lot. Cody is not a babyface, no matter how much he wants to say he is. Three Amigos by Andrade. We get Eddie Chance. The third amigo in the corner. That was good. Andrade with the figure 4. Don't you fucking dare, Tony Khan. Don't you bring that goddamn toxic person in. Andrade hits G.I. Jose, and then Cody dives. FTR hits him with the AAA belts, because they were under the ring, for some reason. Then Hammerlock DDT for 3. Here's Tully to celebrate. Arn stares him down. Brainbusters explode. Soon it's gonna be like that old fight between Jasper and Grandpa Simpson. Lucha Bros and Alex run down, and we get an aftermath. God, I'm shocked. I'm shocked we get an aftermath. Another aftermath! Shivani is interviewing John Silver, who refers to, instead of Adam Cole doing the boom, the booge thing. I don't get it. They're going to have a match on Rampage. So, and also Punk and Eddie face off. And Bunny and Red Velvet in the final TBS first round, quarterfinal, whatever match. And we cut to a video package. That match is going to be a train wreck. So, Brian shows up for commentary. We've got 10 minutes left. Where is my mind? And Miro comes out to a pop. Miro, despite selling for Orange Cassidy a bit, with a DDT for a near fall on Beach Break. Miro hits the game over for the win. And then Brian comes out to shake his hand, and that's it. Didn't really have much to say about some of those matches, but that being said, Miro being in the world title finals, if Paige is going to win, have Miro win. Miro being the one to take it off of Paige might not be the worst thing in the world. I mean, I know that'd be quick. Maybe Brian is the one to do it, but Brian doesn't quite get it. I don't fucking know. But I think there's going to be some good stuff on Full Gear. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.